This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. Gil Alexander from San Francisco today. Once again, Kelly Bidlin back in Las Vegas atop the Circus Sportsbook at our VSiN studios. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Holding it down back here, Gil. Just keeping your seat warm. Keeping your seat warm.
Oh, did you shift to that seat? Is that what you did?
Actually, no, I haven't. But no. During the breaks, I go over and sit there and I just pretend to have a conversation with myself. Like, hey, Gil, what do you think about this? And I just say, Barry Bonds.
See, yes, Barry Lamar Bonds. Show some respect. Todd Wishnev will join us here momentarily. Why, you ask? Is he on so early? Because the man has to play tennis. So we have to schedule our segments around his schedule. That's coming up. All his thoughts, sort of the midway point of the Major League Baseball season on a number of teams. Todd watches all kinds of hours, untold hours of baseball every day. So we'll get his thoughts. Paul Sporer on Major League Baseball as well this hour. Chris Felica, the Bear, midweek appearance on the World Cup. It's USA Day. The United States of America, Bosnia and Herzegovina tonight, the round of 32. Are you nervous, Kelly Bidlin, at all about this?
I'm not nervous at all, Gil. I'm sure nothing will go wrong for the United States soccer team through the next several weeks. I'm sure it will be nothing but greatness, happiness, celebration around the country. No problems whatsoever. No, I told you this, I think, off air the other day. If I'm being real, because I don't think I'm going to have a bet on this. I don't know if you are. If I'm being real, I'd kind of like to see this be tied heading into extra time, and then the U.S. win in extra time. Yeah, just a little bit of a sweat for everybody as we get into the knockout rounds. I think we need to get used to that.
Do you have a bet on this that's making you say that?
No. Oh,
okay. All right. You prefer that over 4-0 or something like that?
Yeah. And then a little sweat early in the knockout rounds.
All right, let's put the pin on the World Cup here. We'll get back to this momentarily. I want to get out the tennis plays of the day. Wimbledon in full swing. Yesterday we split the bets for a small juice of a loss. Today there are 4 plays. They are all dogs. They are all on the women's side. Only one has begun, I believe. That is Diane Paris against Anna Kalinskaya. That's at the bottom of the screen. She's a plus 164 dog. Again, VSiN subscribers get this in the overnight, VSiN.com/picks. You get my tennis picks. You get Zach Cohen's tennis picks. Zach is killing Wimbledon, by the way. Paris is up a break early. That one has begun. The other 3 have not. They're all playable here. Barbora Krejcikova, who won this tournament a couple years back. She's a plus 182 dog against Mira Andreeva, the French Open champ. Tatiana Maria, great grass player, plus 235 against Danny Higgins' girl, Eva Jovic. Don't ask, it's a long story. And then Wang Xinyu, plus 246 against Belinda Bencic. So 4 dogs against 4 really good players, but that's how the grass court numbers, the cookie crumbled on that. So again, Paris has started, but Krejcikova, Tatiana Maria, and Wang Xinyu still to come if you're down for tennis. The big story, of course, yesterday, Kelly, Serena Williams made her comeback. She ends up losing to Maya Joint in 3 sets, but Serena showed some fight, 44 years old, back playing tennis after a 4-year absence. She won. She was down a break in the second set. She came back. She was down a break again. She came back. She won in a tiebreaker. She ran out of gas in the 3rd set. You could tell the legs weren't there. So Maya Joint, who wasn't born till after Serena had already won 7 slams, ends up beating Serena. And I guess, it's not really a sports betting thing, but my only 2, it's sort of a double-edged takeaway from that, which is, 1, part of me is happy that Serena lost, because I think if she played Alex Ayala, she'd get bageled. So I think she saves face with that. But I really think she comported herself great for being off for 4 years. The fact that she could come and beat a tour player who has been in the top 30 and take a set from her, not beat her, but take a set from her, is super impressive. And part of me wants her to just say, you know what? I proved to myself what I needed to do. I showed my kids I could play. That was her stated thing. And then there's a little part of me that's like, that was good enough to sort of build on. We'll see her at the U.S. Open, which I think is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was better for that to happen yesterday than get blown out right in a second round match. And this is you talked about her losing her legs a bit. I don't know if you saw this a little bit here this morning, but what injured her knee in that? Is it yesterday? Skipped a press conference afterward, apparently dealing with a knee injury that has put doubles play in doubt with Venus Williams, according to BBC here this morning. That's just coming down here in the last hour. So this might be it might be a quick exit here for Serena. They're not really much more details than that, but a knee injury is what they are calling it. It may withdraw from doubles.
Well, yeah. You play big time tennis on center court, by the way. I mean, she gets a lot of credit for that, but you do that at 44 years old after not really working your way up to that match. Not the most surprising thing in the world. Hopefully she comes back. She's okay.
That's a good point. I mean, I think you and I would trust whatever preparation Serena was doing and the people that are around her to be top notch, but still, there's not a lot of competitive play leading up to this.
No, none really at all on a singles level, right? So yeah, I do think there's enough in her competitive spirit that will have her play at the U.S. Open for the final major of the year on the hard courts of New York. We shall see. Time will tell. But amazing to see her on the court yesterday, and amazing to see her win a set. Yesterday in the World Cup, back to the World Cup. Kelly Bidlin, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, but it's as if he is on Team Norway at this point. He is such a fan of this side. It's like he could put on his Viking hat and he would just fit right in. Norway gets it done against Ivory Coast. For those of us who had the draw, another heartbreak, 88th, 89th minute, right before extra time. Erling Haaland does it again, and Norway beats Ivory Coast 2-1. And then it was a couple, I guess, the soccer equivalent of blowouts, we could say, based on what we've seen in this tournament. France takes down Sweden 3-0. Mexico then takes down Ecuador 2-0. The Mexico team Mexico, 4 clean sheets in a row. Woo! 8-0 combined score for Team Mexico as they advance to the round of 16. Furthest that Mexico has gone in 40 years in the World Cup, the furthest they've ever gotten in history, the quarterfinals. So one more win to match that for Team Mexico. And then, Kelly, of course, the triple header today.
And Gil, there it was last night. Mexico City knows it, that's for sure.
My God.
Good luck matching that USA this weekend. Look at this city going crazy afterward.
Wow. Is that you're right. July 4th can't be that good.
This is like the entire arsenal of fireworks in Mexico City got launched last night. It was pretty impressive.
So the beauty of the show today is not only do we have our guests, not only do we have live tennis that we're betting on while the show is happening, but we have the World Cup during the show as well. Yeah. These times are always different on a day-to-day basis, but today, in a little less than 2 hours, it's the first of the triple header. England and the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's in Atlanta. That's at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The winner will play the aforementioned Team Mexico team. So we could be headed for an England-Mexico round of 16 match, which would be a banger. Then at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, Belgium and Senegal. The winner of that will play the winner of the United States-Bosnia-Herzegovina game, which is the late game today, in a round of 16 game on Monday. So again, I asked Paul Carr yesterday, who do you think Team USA would rather play if they're able to get by Bosnia-Herzegovina? And he said it's not a clear answer. You could really make a case for both sides. But certainly we'll have Chris Felica on to discuss all. Also had a big trade in the NBA yesterday. And Kelly, this is one of those, we talked about, are all these trades moving deck chairs on the Titanic? LaMelo Ball to Minnesota, Naz Reid and Julius Randle leaving Minnesota, Charlotte doing big things, obviously getting rid of Ball and Miles Bridges. But Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors, back to the Raptors, where he played one season, right? We forget, it was one season after 7 in San Antonio, and they won the championship. Yes, Kevin Durant got hurt. Yes, Klay Thompson got hurt. That helped.
I lost so much money on that finals, Gil. So much money.
You think, though, that this actually, because it's Kawhi going to an Eastern Conference team who keeps kind of their core intact, you think this is a big deal?
Yeah, I really do. And you set it up well. I think a lot of what we're talking about out west and with some of these other teams, it's, okay, great, like the Thunder Spurs are still there. And then I think I've just been kind of scratching my head with what a lot of these Eastern Conference teams are doing. I mean, just starting with the Celtics, I really thought this Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum thing had been settled years ago, and after you win a championship together, I really didn't think this was a big deal. I understand when a Giannis Antetokounmpo is possibly on the table, that sure, Jaylen Brown's name gets floated there. I'm a little confused why we're still talking about it. I don't really know that we are. I think there's a little bit, I don't know how much fire is actually there behind this Jaylen Brown possible movement, but look, the Celtics, we know the Knicks won the championship. Knicks are great. I said at the beginning of last season, I thought they were a team to beat in the East. Did that change throughout the year with Boston getting healthier? Yeah, maybe it did. But the Knicks will be there. Then you got Boston screwing around. I think the Hornets completely revamping and kind of resetting their timeline. You've got the Heat add Giannis. That's great, but they've got a lot of holes in the roster to fill out. My point is, there's going to be a lot of talk about the East being deep this year, and I think that's true. Indiana gets back Halliburton, right? There's all these stories. It's going to be deep, but how many really good teams are there? I mean, right now it's kind of New York, Boston for me at the top, Gil, and I think Toronto, with adding Kawhi Leonard after what they did last year and keeping a lot of those same pieces together, I think they've launched themselves right into that conversation, and for a team like them, I think it's a perfect year to take a swing at this and go for it. For Kawhi, only 2 more years left on that contract anyway, so you're not exactly committing long money time to Kawhi for this.
After we talk some baseball with Wishdev and with Sporer, we'll get back to try to put Kawhi's time in LA in context. It's very complicated. Coming back with Todd Wishnev on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, USA Soccer against Bosnia. Will we advance to the round of 16? Brian Geldseiler, NBA free agency. Jeff Seeley, best bets in golf. Dallin Cuff, Derek Hendrickson will be in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and a soccer bet we love in Belgium and Senegal. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, SiriusXM channel 158.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The all-new VSiN NFL betting guide is out now. Whether you're betting futures, win totals, division races, MVP, Rookie of the Year, or Super Bowl odds, our guide helps you get ahead of the market before training camps begin. Inside, you'll find breakdowns of all 32 teams, projected win totals, best bets from VSiN experts, future analysis, power ratings, and more. Get it today with our football special for just $175. The sooner you sign up, the more value you get with full access to everything we do across every sport through the Super Bowl. That includes daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. And a little later on the show, in tribute to the VSiN NFL betting guide, Kelly, you and me, we're going to go through our favorite NFC season win totals, yes?
Win total Wednesdays will hit the NFC. I made a bet yesterday, added one to the NFL futures. I'll tell you, though, Gil, there weren't a ton that were jumping out to me. I really dug in more yesterday than I have in a while. So one bet I ended up firing on. A few more that I liked, though, we'll talk about.
Yeah, I have a few, and they're all overs, which I didn't really like, but all three are overs, but I love them. We'll get into it a little later on. We'll do the AFC, by the way, tomorrow. In the meantime, because we don't read tweets on his segment and we have to schedule around his tennis playing schedule, Todd Wishnev comes early on this Wednesday morning, the star of Wishnev Wednesdays, the star of the Showtime docuseries action, and of course, the star of the Megapod, Toddy Wishnev from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Todd, good morning.
Oh, so a guy tries to become healthy who gets urged by his friend Gilly, you got to get healthy. And then you try to be healthy by playing tennis, and guess what happens? Then you get ripped for that too. Wow. No good deed goes unpunished.
Tell us how much weight you've lost. This is actually really good news.
I mean, it's not really about the weight. I'm down about 24 pounds in 90 days, but the blood work is the important thing because my blood sugar was just getting way out of control. My eyes were getting blurry when I was trying to watch the games down at the casino. I was up to like 276 on blood sugar. If you know anything about that, that's real dangerous. But now it's down into the 114, 120 area daily, which is really good.
There we go.
And, as an ancillary benefit, I've also dropped about 24 pounds because, I haven't eaten one thing in the last 90 days that has any fun to it. Like no rice, no pasta, no chips, no bagels, no pizza, no da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
First of all, this is outstanding news. Love that this is happening. And remember, Todd can get into a whole sidebar discussion about free will and how he has no idea why it's happening now. It just happened. That's a whole nother thing. What are you eat? What unfun
That's
things
for
are you
advanced
eating?
level intellect, not for you.
What
am I eating? I'm eating. Yes, it's for advanced level intellect. Proteins. Your chicken breasts, your steak, your eggs, your that kind of stuff, and then your vegetables. A lot of cauliflower, a lot of. With a little tiny bit of light ranch dressing just for some taste, and then fruit. That's it.
Good for you. All right. Well,
some people would say you shouldn't eat fruit with diabetes, but I don't buy that.
We're rounding the bend. By the way, again, sincerely, this is awesome news.
Yeah,
we're all very happy about this. Good for you. We're rounding the halfway mark of the Major League Baseball season, or we have rounded it, about 11 days away now from the All-Star break. You watch as much baseball as anybody. You're betting it all day long, every day. Let's just talk about some rando stuff. Let's start in the NL East, where the Braves went out to this massive lead. How do you feel about the Braves vis-a-vis the Phils now?
Well, see, I had this friend who told me that the Braves are the greatest bet in the history of betting to win the division. Okay, now this guy is the kind of guy, when he gets onto something and latches on, he makes you believe nothing else could ever happen. He's not always right, but he's never in doubt. Never in doubt. So this guy said, bet the Braves. So we did. I got it at plus 155. He got it much better. Now, all of a sudden, the Braves are leaking oil like there's no tomorrow, and he's all over the Phillies. Now, we have to give him props because you can get both of them at plus money. So I ended up getting plus 155 on the Braves, and I got the Phillies at plus 230. As long as the Marlins don't win, I'm going to win some money. So, kudos to him for that. The funny part is just how he just makes it sound like it's a fait accompli. When you heard him talk about the Braves, it's impossible. No one could possibly win but the Braves. Well, maybe not, Stevie.
Would you like to share with the people who you're talking about, by the way?
Stevie Fezzik.
Okay, thank you.
Don't worry, no bets from Steve this week. He's taking the week off. He needs to.
That's right.
He needs to get settled in.
You got to give him plaudits for having both at plus money. That's fantastic. What I'm just laughing about is how he gets so fired up about something and says something with such verve in gambling. And there's nothing in gambling that's 100%, but he makes it sound like it's 100%. So just slow your roll just a tiny bit.
Wow. Sure, we won't hear about this next week.
No,
how about this fakakta lineup that the Yankees are putting out every night?
Oh my gosh, my friend Will Hill is a big Yankees fan, and every night I go, Willie, is this for real, the lineup? I mean, it is unbelievable. And that's why, season-long statistics, you got to be very careful with looking at season-long statistics. Let's say you're looking at, Ks, strikeouts or something, or walks or whatever you might be looking at to make a bet. Be careful with season-long because this is not the same Yankees that started the season. You basically got Goldie, Rice, and Bellinger, and that's it. After that, it's a long line of Spencer Joneses, Caballeros, Volpes. I mean, Escargas or whatever. I mean, you guys just Escara, I think is his name. And it's just like never-ending garbage. This is a horrible lineup. It's unbelievable.
If I gave you the Yankees lineup and then compared it to the Guardians lineup, who would you rather have right now?
Well, the Guardians that's your just garden variety absolute garbage. I mean, you take Ramirez out, then you take the Lauder out. I think the Lauder's back now, but it's unbelievable. I mean, even with Ramirez, it was a terrible lineup, and now Kwan's not hitting, so he's down in the lineup. It's garbaggio. So I look to play first three unders when the Cleveland has a good pitcher and the other team has a decent pitcher, because I think a decent pitcher can hold the Cleveland team down, and if they have a good pitcher, they're going to hold the other side down. So I like to play first threes on those kind of teams where they just cannot hit.
Let's talk about bullpens. Let's start with your Buccos, your Pittsburgh Pirates. Not so good, huh?
Buccos. I really feel like my Buccos should be higher than 43 and 43. They have a 20 plus 24 run differential. They're hitting the ball like crazy. This is the first Bucco team that's been, crushing the ball in quite a while. And we're just losing games because that bullpen has just absolutely horrendous. And there were some good arms there early in the year, but now it's just been horrendous. So you got to be really careful with the Pirates bullpen. If you're going to play them, maybe you want to think about playing them first five. I would say the same thing with the Nationals. The Nationals just crush the ball, but they lose every game in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. So play the first five. Last night I had Cavalli. Cavalli is very quietly a pretty darn good pitcher for the Nats, and he strikes people out. His strikeout numbers are still kind of lowish, on it. Like yesterday was 4.5, minus 118, and he had 13 strikeouts. I mean, the guy sometimes, especially if he gets him early in the game, you can play him in game because, even if he gets him 3 or 4 in the first 2 innings, you can play him at over 6.5, over 7. He gets these big numbers a lot, Cavalli.
To your point about your Pirates.
You might have been sleeping on. Walker Buehler was just absolutely horrendous coming, first part of the season. He's quietly put up 5 starts where he gave up exactly 1 earned run. 5 starts in a row. So that's kind of interesting. If you're not, the baseball season isn't just one season. It's like pieces of seasons. Like you had the Yankees who were killing the ball early. Now they can't hit at all. You got the Texas Rangers bullpen was good early. Then they had like a really bad 2-week swing, So you have to really stay on top of these things. Cleveland Indians didn't strike out at all. All of a sudden they're striking out a ton. So you got to really, stay on top of these and look at stats like last 30 days, last 14 days to really get a better feel, I think.
Your Pirates, by the way, just to follow up on that, when I was doing the July most wins analysis, they should be a better baseball team based on both Pythag and sequencing. They should be about 10 games above 500, 5 by Pythag, 13 by sequencing. And they are projected, at least at Fangraphs, to tie for the final wild card berth. So if they can get some better bullpen play, man. That's going to be huge for them. Last thing, are you looking at anything today?
They're 43 and 43, and it's, you say that stuff, they sound like a 48 and 38 team, really. So that makes kind of sense. Today so far, the only thing I played was Josh Jung over 1.5 HRR hits, runs, and RBIs. He has really been hitting the ball lately. Josh Jung is quietly hitting 297. Who knew that? And he hits lefties. It's a lefty today they're going against, and he's 3 for 5 lifetime against the guy. So I believe it's is it Cantillo? I think it's Cantillo for the Guardians. So I think Josh Jung might be worth a look at over. I haven't done all the work yet, but over 1.5 on him hits, runs, and RBIs. By the way, don't sleep on Milwaukee. I know every year we go, oh, can Milwaukee do it? Miz, Harrison, and Woodruff. Things that make you go,
I don't think anybody's sleeping on the Brewers. Todd, congratulations on the blood sugar. Go out there and play some tennis. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Todd,
what's 85 degrees? I might drop.
Biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't forget about the sharp plays, unmatched transparency with records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, and alerts directly from the pros. Check it out at sharpplays.com. Scan the QR code on your screen for more. Gil Alexander in San Francisco, Kelly back in Vegas. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Dunk Tank Sports. Great insight yesterday into why you stick to pre-match tennis versus live yesterday. A Canadian sportsbook is encouraging court-siding to beat them at tennis in this ad before they limit you to $1. Yeah, court-siding, Kelly. A very common practice. Court-siding, not just tennis, but other sports as well. Shrek McPhee, many people forgot how great the World Cup is because it was in Qatar with bad TV hours and in December of 2022. Absolute spectacle. Nothing better. P.S. It doesn't hurt that the USA is actually good now, LOL. Jason H11, good thing Kelly lost all that weight before deciding to sit in your seat. Okay. Kelly, congrats again for your weight loss.
Wait,
Todd Wishna.
What does that mean? I was going to break his chair? Is that what that means?
I don't know what that meant. Joe Nuns. Oh, this is nice. Joe, or Joe Nuns. He says, after 41 years, today is the first day of my retirement. Finally can listen live to Gil and Kelly, and I can politely correct erroneous 1970s baseball references in real time. Name one, Joe Nuns. We've never had an erroneous 1970s.
Erroneous on all accounts. Yeah, that's hey, Brendan. Joe, congratulations. That's awesome. Happy retirement.
Right, Joe.
Thanks for spending your time with Gil and myself, and I can't wait to see how long it takes you to find something else to do this early in the morning.
41 years retiring. Good for him. Brendan won my Serena bet. I forgot what your Serena bet was, but good on you. Frank in Seven Hills listening to us from a 737 on his way to Philly via Orlando. Thank you, Frank. Travel safely. Shooter McGamblin, not really a big NBA fan. Serious question for Kelly. Doesn't Kawhi rarely play basketball? He included the word like in there.
Yes, yes, that is fair. Yes, that is fair.
We will get into the whole
games above very limited seasons above 60 games. That is for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into the whole Kawhi thing here momentarily. And finally, Sam Ginsberg from Pittsburgh. Sure, Todd mentioned he's eating eggs and not a word. I mention eggs and I get a hard time for 2 days. By the way, I'm down 60 pounds since February. Hope to see you guys in the early fall. I'll buy you guys a nice Wynn buffet. I know they serve eggs there. Good for everybody getting good health. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, man.
And Scola says, point of clarification, Todd was using the old name for the Cleveland baseball team, not the Guardians. Todd, they haven't struck out since 2021, he says. Okay. We appreciate the clarification on that. Todd regrets the error. Let's talk some more baseball. Paul Sporer joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Sporer, Sporer. He works at Fangraphs and, of course, is the host of the Sleeper and the Bust podcast. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning. How's it going, guys?
Doing very well. I asked Joe Sheehan. Joe Sheehan was on the show yesterday, and I was like, we're kind of the halfway point of the season. Give me your top 3 headlines, or what are the biggest headlines of the first half of the MLB season? And he had some pretty good answers, one of which was just the difference between the NL and the AL, the level of competition.
That's my first one.
That's your first one. Do we have any rhyme or reason for that?
Nope. I think it's just random. It happens sometimes. For years we saw the central divisions of each league being bad. Now it's just kind of permeated the entire American League while the whole NL's up. It's just kind of the ebbs and flows of teams. I'm sure we could go find a time. I don't have one off the top of my head, but I don't think it would be terribly difficult to go back and find a time where the AL was way up like this and the NL, maybe had a couple good teams and then little else going on the way we're seeing in the American League right now. So I just think it's random, but it is a massive thing this year.
A lot of people with Cam Schlittler tickets to win Cy Young got a little spooked yesterday. Are you?
No, guys, listen, don't do a Cy Young ticket if you're going to lose your mind over every start. You're going to drive yourself crazy because guys are going to have bad starts. There's nobody, maybe 68 Gibson, but there's very few guys that you're going to find that don't have a blip start or 3, 3, 4, a handful of them. Because when you're so good, dropping 7 innings plus of, 1 run, 2 runs, all those starts, you can have a few duds and be fine. Now, listen, he faced the best team in the league, and that happens. The Tigers come in, curb stomp you. I can't even keep a straight face saying that. It was stunning to see him give up all those homers to my Tigers. I will admit that I was completely floored by it. But no, I wouldn't be worried at all. The only time you're going to worry about something like that is on like September 30th as opposed to June 30th, because then time's running out.
Yeah, Schlittler, 4 innings is all he lasted against the Tigers yesterday. Gave up 6 earned runs, 7 hits, 5 Ks against 1 walk and 85 pitches. So he is entitled to a bad outing. So I'm curious about your answer to this question. So we do the monthly MLB markets here. June obviously just ending, July beginning today with a whole new slate of games, and everybody at 0-0, if you will, 0-0 for the month of July. The Miami Marlins ended up winning the month of June, and they did it with a 20-6 record. I had the Cubs. They ended up 16-10. They never had a shot. But 20-6, I've been doing this for, what is it now? 2.5 years. So it's 15 months of these markets. I went back, and we actually have a graphic that shows all of the winning percentages of the best teams in all these 15 months. Guess who ended up with the best winning percentage of all the winning teams in all those 15 months? The Miami Marlins of this year, 20-6. It's amazing. Is there a team, forget about the month, let's just talk about the rest of the regular season. Do you feel there is a team that is sort of, or teams that are under the radar, that the average fan is like, I'm not even thinking about them, but you are, that can get to the promised land? Promised land meaning playoffs.
I mean, God, this is so embarrassing because I'm going to say the Tigers. I am. And again, for those that don't know, I'm a huge Tigers fan. That's why it feels embarrassing. But I'm not a homer. I don't think I come around talking up the Tigers at every turn. But when you look at a healthy Tigers, look, Skubal was opposing Schlittler yesterday, remember? So, and he had his best start since he came back. By the way, the first 3 starts, there was nothing significantly different. He himself had given up a few homers. I mentioned how Schlittler got bit by the homer ball yesterday. It was Skubal who got bit by the homer ball in his first couple starts back, making it look like maybe he was a little bit off, but he really wasn't. And he showed that yesterday in the Bronx. They got him back so quickly. They got Flaherty going again. Mize back at the same time. I think the Mize coming back with Skubal is such a big deal there. So their pitching is completely back on track. Now it has to start showing up in the bullpen before I can really, really get on board with my favorite team here, because this bullpen sucks. So Cater Montero kind of being pushed out of the rotation into the bullpen is a big help. They need more help there. They need to either find some guys off the wire, AAA, or get something going via trade or pickups. The hitting, I think, is there, though. I really do. Gleyber Torres will eventually be back. I think the hitting is coming along more. I still think this Tigers team, because of the American League being the way it is, like you said, nobody's run away and hide. I even think the division is played in play. 9 games is a lot, but what is it, 6.5 at the wild card? I really do think that the Tigers are right there. And I'll give a little shout out to the Red Sox too, a team I thought was going to be amazing coming into the year. Maybe they're starting to find some things. They need some offense. So if you could take the Tigers offense with the Red Sox pitching, I think you'd really, really have something there. Obviously you can't do that, but yeah, I think those 2 teams are both still very much in it, despite a lot of hurdles in their way.
Yeah, I got the Red Sox in July. That's my team in July. I've asked you this about the American League. I ask everybody in the American League because it's an impossible task. Who are the 6 teams that make the playoffs in the American League? I'm not going to ask you that this time. I'm going to ask you about the National League, which is, okay, I spot you the Braves and the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Brewers. Who are the other 2 teams?
So you gave me the 2 AL East teams, the Brewers, the Dodgers, and I need 2 more teams. By the way, I don't know that you need to spot me the Braves. Can I say that? Is that a hot take?
Okay.
I'm not locking them in. Because, they played way over their skis to begin with. We were all stunned by it, and I think it's finally starting to come back to them. Obviously, the Phillies have rose up to them more than the Braves have come down, but I'm not sure they're locked. But let's take them as your lock. I will accept that. I'm going to go Cubs and Padres. And the reason I think the Padres are still going to get there, despite their wretched offense and a 4-game losing streak right now, is because I still think that they're all in. Like, they still want to push those chips in. they're going to go out. Preller's going to go out and make moves to try to improve that offense. I think it's going to be more in the vein of the Gavin Sheets, Ramon Laureano additions that they made in previous years. You know, Sheets is still healthy and playing. Laureano out for them, unfortunately. I think it's going to be that type of player as opposed to a big name guy, because how many times can they keep trading away their best prospects? But I do think that the Padres are still going to be there. I want to say the Pirates, but push come to shove, I do think the Cubs, another team that I think is going to push pretty hard at the deadline. I think they will over push. They'll do more than the Pirates will, and I think that will be enough to kind of get there.
Okay, that sounds about right. So so teams in the NL Central that have renewed hopes this year, I'm talking about the Cardinals and the Pirates specifically.
Yep.
You don't buy them in the end.
I mean, I wouldn't say I don't buy them like they're trash. They're going to completely fade. I am going to give the edge to the Cubs, though, because I don't think either of those teams are going to push. And I think we could even see something with the Cardinals where they do 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They maybe deal some guys while still kind of hanging around unless they have a big run. The Pirates, they've never shown the propensity to really push. If they go out and make a big trade, I'll be on here the next Wednesday changing my tune. But until I see that from them, I got to go with a team like the Cubs that will push.
All right, Paul. Appreciate it as always, man. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you. Same to you. You guys take care.
Paul Sporer, everybody. Let's talk some NBA. On the other side, it's a numbers game right here at VSiN.
You make me go loco, baby. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. You make me go loco, loco. You make me go loco, baby. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. You make me go loco, baby. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. Yeah, that shit makes me crazy. You make me go loco, loco. You make me go loco, baby. Yeah, that shit makes me.
The party never stops at Stadium Swim.
You make me go loco, loco.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circle Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Kelly Bidlin. I'm in San Francisco. Gil Alexander. Thanks for tuning in. Little summer San Francisco broadcast.
Yeah.
This week, next week. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
How are you enjoying it? Your morning commute's a lot better, huh?
Morning commute is fantastic. Las Vegas Metro doesn't have to worry about stuff I'm doing out there. It's great.
There you go.
Kenny G on Twitter. Morning, Gil. I'm trying to find a hotel within walking distance of Circa. The $400 promotion that they had is gone. Any recommendation? Thanks. Have a great show. Thank you, Kelly. I'll throw that to you. Do you have a hotel recommendation in the area?
Well, if you want to be walking distance, then you have to be downtown, and I have not stayed anywhere else downtown here on Fremont Street to make a recommendation. I guess I would say Golden Nugget probably.
That's what I would have said. Yeah, Golden Nugget, I guess. Jason H11, 110 heat index. Get out there and play some tennis, Todd. Yeah, he's a little worried about the heat. New York Mess 16. Gil, I'm on the weight loss cycle too, but it's not for good health. Just want to look good for my daughter's wedding in March. Congratulations to you and to your daughter. And Dr. Van Nostrad, Seinfeld reference. Love Paul Spore's take on Major League Baseball, although that pink hue in the right corner seems like a side door massage parlor entrance. Not that I know. Not that I know, but he says, yeah. For those who missed it, Kawhi Leonard was traded yesterday. The Los Angeles Clippers have agreed to trade, let's be clear, all-NBA forward Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, a 2027 first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. Shams Charania, the first to report that. My first reaction, Kelly, and we'll get into here like what LeBron's next team, Jaylen Brown's next team here momentarily, these odds. But my first reaction, without really like looking at the numbers, was, wow, Kawhi still is fetching all of that in a trade. Just turned 35 years old, I believe, if I'm correct. And so I went, with the help of, I want to give credit to Grant Hughes over there at the Bleacher Report, and just sort of contextualize Kawhi Leonard 7 years in LA. So he goes 7 years in San Antonio, then he wins the championship 1 year in Toronto. And then remember that night, we almost remember where we were when the Clippers acquired Kawhi Leonard. They simultaneously acquired Paul George because the thinking at the time was Kawhi's not coming here unless we get Paul George as well. So just on that alone, like you don't even have to go into numbers. Just on that alone, the Clippers never came close to sniffing a championship, and they traded SGA. That's all you need to know, right? On that sort of grade scale alone, it's an utter disaster.
Gil,
you can do it that way.
Kawhi's already won more playoff series as a member of the Toronto Raptors as he did as a member of the Clippers.
Yes. So, and I'll keep going with that. I'll riff off what you're saying. The 7 years of Kawhi in LA, they won just the 14th most playoff games in the league over that 7 year span. Kawhi missed one entire season with injury, averaged 55 games played in the 6 other seasons he spent with the Clippers. He finished fifth in MVP voting in 2019-2020, 13th the next year. And then it all flipped where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was like 5th or better in MVP voting every year after that. Now, on the other hand, it's not all bad because it's a little complicated because that said, the Clippers, and take this for what it's worth, right? But still, the Clippers' .587 winning percentage during the regular season is the 4th best in the entire league since he joined the team. Over that 7 year span, not once did they finish below 500. The only time it missed the playoffs was the season Leonard sat out with a knee injury. Even then, they were 42-40. Whenever he was healthy, big if, he basically was exactly who the Clippers wanted him to be. He averaged over the course of those 7 years 25.1 points a game, 6.4 boards, 4.1 assists, and 1.7 steals. No player in the league matched or beat those averages during that time span. But to the main point, right? It's a bottom line business. The Clippers did the conference finals once with him on the roster. But he kind of, at least in the box score, sort of fit the bill. But remember, the injuries happened. Remember the worst thing were those 2 games in the playoffs against the Suns in 2023.
Yep.
He was averaging 34.5 points a game the first 2 games, and then he disappeared. Injury, never came back in the series. So, and by the way, Paul George, who the Clippers got for SGA in that deal, he averaged 53 games per season. So I guess what I'm saying is, and by the way, this last year for Kawhi was his career high, right? Averaging over 27 points a game. So it's weird because the instinct is, I can't believe he's still fetching all this in the trade. The Clippers, it was an abject disaster. They got rid of SGA. They never sniffed a championship. On the other hand, individually, when he was available, he was still Kawhi, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just looking at some of the advanced stats from last year. This was over at Dunks and Threes. So you have Kawhi Leonard finished. I mean, easily, you just went through it. His highest scoring season of his entire career last year. When he was on the court, one of the most productive players in the NBA. Of guys that played 65 games or more, SGA, Wemby, and Nikola Jokic are the only guys ahead of Kawhi Leonard on estimated plus-minus contributed last year. So you could make the argument he was a top 5 player in the league. And estimated and wins added, he was 6th in the NBA in wins added for teams last year. So it was a very, very good season. Look, the concerns about his availability, games played, injuries, and injuries at the wrong time with Kawhi, of course they're fair. But this is why it's a gamble. But the Raptors, you have to make a gamble if you're really going to go from what we saw with that team last year, which is a team that is, I believe in Darko, I believe in the coaching staff, I believe in a lot of the young talent. Scotty Barnes looked really good in the playoffs, if you remember that, the series there. Colin Murray-Boyles, looks like they found something there. A defensive front court and versatility between those 3 players, Kawhi, Colin Murray-Boyles, and Scotty Barnes, is going to allow a lot of options for this Raptors team. I think it's a big swing, Gil, but I think the other important thing here is there's only 2 years left on this deal. So it's not like they're recommitting to Kawhi long term, right? He's 34, he's going to be 35, might be 35 already, you brought it up. He's long the tooth, right? Like, it's not like you're locking into this for 5 years and $250 million. So I like the gamble. I do think it's a bit of a gamble considering the injuries past, but you shipped off Brandon Ingram. Not much else. Brandon Ingram's a fine player, but he's only going to take you so far, and I think the Raptors saw that firsthand last season. He's a mid-range shooter in a 3-point league. Bottom
line, by the way, Kawhi turned 35 2 days ago, so happy birthday, Kawhi.
Happy birthday.
Celtics to win the East, plus 260. Defending champion Knicks, plus 320. Then it's the Raptors now at 8-1, followed by Giannis's Heat, who they just acquired Tim Hardaway Jr. at 9-1, along with the Pistons and Cavaliers right in that pocket as well. If I said you must make a bet, is that bet on the Raptors?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but you can't make a bet right now. You can't make a bet right now because you got to figure out what's going on with Jaylen Brown. And look, I was interested in this. I was looking at these odds yesterday because Raptors were like 30-1 yesterday. And even that, like, talk about the Raptors first, Gil. I had the thought, okay, it sounds like Kawhi is going to happen. Is this a bet on the Raptors at 30-1 before this number moves big time? And I was sitting there waiting, but then you start thinking, and I'm like, no, this is not one of those bets. I think there are a lot of those bets that you can make. Acquire big star. This is going to move big time. Do you want to jump in on the better number? The problem is, Gil, it's the downside of Kawhi. And if you're sinking money into an Eastern Conference Finals bet right now and betting on his health for the next 10 months, I'd rather, as we've seen plenty times through NBA seasons, these numbers are going to get longer. They're going to get shorter as winning streaks and injuries occur. I'd rather look in season, and especially when you don't know what's going on with the Celtics. I think it's tough. It's tough to bet into the East right now. But yeah,
right, let's play a little.
But yes, to answer your question, the Raptors would be the team I'd be the most interested in. Yes.
Let's play a little prediction market. Next team. Quick reactions. LeBron James, next team. Golden State Warriors, plus 139. Cleveland Cavaliers, plus 173. Miami Heat, plus 528. Where's he going?
I think Warriors still, but I guess don't count any of those three out. You and I were making fun of it the reporting yesterday, but hey, Gil, they're going to take their time. They're going to call every team in the league. They're going to get everybody's best offer, and then they're going to make a decision, which if that sounds like what an agent usually does, yeah, pretty sure that's what they do.
Jaylen Brown stays with Boston or retires, plus 228. Cleveland over $4. Portland over